If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. This is a surprise.
Another live stream.
Another live stream, you bums.
This is our random stream, or so we affectionately call them.
Ronin streams. Ronin stream. You call them the random streams.
Well, that's because there has been streams that have been called the Ronin, and this is not that. Yeah. Anyway.
Every time I'm the one that calls them Ronin streams.
That's true.
So this is absolutely that.
Oh, well,
These are
welcome to the Ronin stream.
They buy songs for themselves. They're not part of an alliance. They're not part of a DJ stream. It's they're on their own. What's up, Dwayne? Vin has here.
All right, so
there is no DJ. It's a Ronin today, basically.
Well, we have multiple DJs.
So
I guess it's not like they choose the song. They DJ the one song, not a stream. Okay, so which one are we starting with?
We are starting with Asinis. Soulmate.
Okay, this is for the big homie My Insanity.
My Insanity.
Yeah, he's a man of many words. That was it. That's his introduction.
Okay.
You know how he rolls.
Yeah, we know how he rolls. Shout out to the big homie JLB, who was our DJ yesterday.
What's up? What's up?
Crushed it in his first ever DJ stream. Very, very impressive.
That was a very interesting stream.
Very impressive. All right, here we go. Song number 1, Soulmate Asinis. Let's do this shit. Go.
It's not too close to cap in my heart. There's no barrier, no way is so far. I will
my insanity.
That middle part, man. Oh man, that's like the next type of shit I'd love to be able to do on guitar.
Oh yeah,
that was so.
That would be pretty.
It was a different kind. It was. I've never heard a break. Usually, in the middle there's a breakdown. Stuff gets heavy, whatever. I've never really heard a breakdown like that because it wasn't just a regular dum dum, but it wasn't like a solo either. But it was just like, man, that part was amazing.
Beautiful.
And I love that they did it for like 12 turns or something like that. I forgot how much it was, but it was unbelievable. Like that part right there for me, shout out to my insanity. That part right in the middle, man, like that just completely like changed life for me, man. That was so inspiring on guitar. As a guitarist, like that shit is so inspiring. And the other thing that I love about like playing is that I envision, because I'm layering this song or whatever, so I envision what the other guitarist is doing and shit, like how it would relate on stage. Because like there's a confluence, a similarity, but there's also a dissonance, obviously, because one is a lead and one is a rhythm.
Yeah.
But man, whoo! I love that part so much.
I have to know how many views the official.
You
has.
can tell they were heavily influenced by the Beatles. Guess who said that?
Mocking Dwayne. It could be Amy.
It's absolutely Dwayne.
Wow, that is unfriggin' real. So like the actual song itself only 1.8 thousand views, and like the official stream 3.5 thousand views. I find that to be such a travesty.
These guys are top notch.
Yeah,
man.
they're really
top-notch.
really good.
They're absolutely top notch.
And
so good.
His vocal style had a certain level of desperation to it, and this song really, it could take on a couple of different. I mean, there's the obvious like relationship song, that looking for the other person that kind of matches your soul.
Yeah.
But then obviously, maybe I've been sitting underneath your criticisms of love songs for too long, because he says he's talking about once you'll find what you're longing for, inner peace forevermore. And
what do you mean my criticisms of love songs? Tonight, I'm the one that introduced you to that song.
Yes, but you're like, that's unhealthy. That too is unhealthy. Unhealthy!
What?
Unhealthy.
Tonight?
No. A lot of the love songs, when they come up, you're like, that's unhealthy.
Yes, because they're all about like codependency and horribleness. And tonight is beautiful. Like, hey, we're gonna.
I know.
We're gonna be sincere.
I like that one.
We have to face the past. We'll be able to move on. Blah blah blah. Like that, to me, that I don't have a problem with love songs, but I mean, that's obviously, in my opinion, the greatest love song of all time. And anyway,
that is
a
good one.
So this song, In Constant Search to Close the Gap in My Heart.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Go ahead, say it, babe. You're gonna say it, aren't you?
What? Say what?
Was it unhealthy? He's trying to close a gap in his heart. And then he talks about finding inner peace and inner peace forevermore, the soulmate defeating his fears.
That's a lot to put on a person.
That's what I'm saying. So what? Is it unhealthy?
There's someone who shares your belief with understanding of your grief. Someone who feels the same. It's the one who lights your flame. Like, if you literalize... Look... I don't have a problem with saying that your soulmate or a relationship can fill a gap in your heart, because from a biblical perspective, Adam is in a perfect environment and he has a direct relationship with God, and yet there was an obvious gap in his heart. So I don't have a problem with saying that the relationship does that, because obviously it does.
Yeah.
But it just depends on how big the gap was, because like people are finite as far as like how much space they can take up in your heart. So if you have a people-sized gap, then fine, that person can fill that gap. But if you have mommy issues, daddy issues, XYZ issues, this phobia, that phobia, blah blah blah, and you expect that person to fill all of that, that's when it becomes,
right,
in my view, unhealthy.
Right.
Because that person, then what ends up happening
Okay.
is the person gets idealized at the beginning and then crucified at the end. They get idealized at the beginning because it's like, oh, this person's going to be able to do X, Y, Z, fill all these gaps. But then they get crucified because they're not able to do that because they're a human being.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, okay, that's why people say things like there's a thin line between love and hate and all the rest of it.
Oh.
Or all's fear and love and war is because people are expecting way too much of people and then they're not able to deliver, and then it creates all these conflicts.
Okay. All right. I'm with you on that. So I really liked it. I liked the way the way that he talked about the longing, and when he said, separated in space and time, you are a part of mine, and if we never come together, you're in my mind forever. I liked that too. Like, there was this sort of longing that he's had for such a long time to find his soulmate, that at the end of it, he's like, look, if I never find this person, they're still going to be in my heart because I'm always going to be looking for them. And he said separated in space and time. Like, I remember when I was a teenager, I was like, oh, I can't wait to find the love of my life, blah, blah, blah. And then there was this movie, it was probably poorly produced and everything, so nobody's going to want to watch it. But it was something about a penny, or I think it was a coin of some sort. Anyway, this woman is able to connect, or this man is able to connect with a person of the past through this coin. And so they cross in this reality, but there's no way for them to really be together because they don't live from the same time period, but they fall in love. I'm sure it probably had some ending where the person is basically reincarnated and they find them in this life. You know what I mean? Like, it was probably something like that. But the concept of, like, wow, that's so true. Like, there's been so many people that have come before. Like, what if that person that matched you perfectly, you know what I mean? Like, before, what if they were, back in the 1800s? I mean, you're not,
right.
That's it. You only have the people here.
Right. Right.
So I always had like this idea of what the person was going to be and couldn't wait to meet the person, blah, blah, blah. And I would tell myself, well, they're not here today, but any day that can change. One of these days. Tomorrow could be the day. Today could be the day. So they walk into your life. What?
That's fascinating. That's very fascinating. Was Christopher Reeve in the movie? That's because
what was the name of the movie that you guys are thinking?
What movie were you thinking, Steven? Yeah, I mean, obviously, now we're gonna have to have a Don Hoffman reference, but Don Hoffman has the idea that consciousness is fundamental. And
somewhere in time. Yo, you guys are unbelievable. I think that is it.
Somewhere, yeah, that's Christopher Reeve.
A 1980 romance fantasy. Yep, that's probably it.
That he falls in love with a Victorian woman in a painting and is able to cross time to meet her metaphysically.
Was there anything about a penny in there? Or would that just come out of nowhere? Was there was something that connected them like they were at a hotel or something and something connected them?
Negative vibes. We should probably shoot a commercial for that. Because that is something interesting. We'll probably shoot a commercial for that, and then you and your crew can distribute the commercial. Okay, so back to our regular scheduled program. Okay, so Hoffman believes that this what we call the physical world, or the things that we see.
See, Stephen, thank you.
That we see are it's just a dashboard, and that consciousness is fundamental, and we essentially co-created the. I mean, I don't agree with him here, but check it out. We co-created the physical world, what we call a physical world, so that we could explore the universe, experience the universe, and experience other consciousnesses. Because prior to the physical world being made, you have like literally trillions of mini networks of consciousnesses. So like, imagine Twitter, Facebook, or whatever on crack times a million, right? So you've had these trillions of networks of consciousnesses, and so those networks get together and decide to create a physical world, etc., etc. So the physical world isn't real in the most fundamental sense. Consciousness is, and we just created the physical world as a means of bumping into each other, experiencing each other. So what if you had, so if I had that as a premise, which would be a really amazing movie. And I don't know how you would be able to communicate pre-physicalized consciousnesses.
Yeah.
Because normally I've been saying like a disembodied consciousness, but that means that you had a body and then you lost it, you're disembodied. This would be pre-embodied consciousness. So this is just pure awareness, and somehow that pure awareness is individuated so that you can have trillions of spheres. And he says, like, I can sense your sphere. I perceive your sphere. So you had these spheres of consciousnesses that are aware of themselves and are aware that they're not the other one. Okay? And so that's very hard to relate with. So he said, let's create a physical world where we can individuate the consciousnesses and have a physical icon that marks you as you and me as me. Okay? So if that were the case, and you had these two consciousnesses that said, hey, we really like each other, let's go into the physical world so we can find each other, but they screwed up and either didn't land in the same physical area or didn't land at the proper time, right? You would have people that would be genuinely soulmates, but are completely separated by space and time, right? So that the only way that they could reconnect would be to disembody themselves and then find themselves in the previous realm that they were in prior to creating this lower world. That is
interesting.
It's
that's
very
your
it's very
thoughts,
very
or
fascinating.
That's your thoughts based off his, or that was all his thoughts?
No, that would be my extrapolation. That's how I would apply, Hoffman's conscious agents theory in the context of this, which would explain the phenomena of people falling in love with people, across time and space, right? Because, they basically they had the wrong coordinates when they parachuted in here would be the idea.
That might explain some of like you see that. I don't even know if I believe it. I don't know if people are really saying that they're in love or what. Like when there's somebody that like marries somebody that's like super old.
Right.
Because it's like, it doesn't make any sense, especially if the person's not rich, they're old, and they're saying that they love the person.
Well, it would explain a lot of things. Because if you fell in love in a pre-embodied state, okay, so what would happen if I land in a female body and you land in a female body?
Right.
Right? That would explain, like...
Honest to goodness, that whenever I have that thought, it always freaks me out.
But it would explain so much phenomena relative to love and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And it has horrible implications if you really extrapolate it out. I'm not even going to go there. Smart people could put it together. There's some really bad applications of that idea.
Absolutely.
Which is why I think you need somebody that superintends all this stuff, which would be the primary consciousness in my view, which would be God. You need, like, Hoffman is like, oh yeah, we created this physical, like, how? How did we gin up this massively elaborate simulation? We're not told. We're just told that, the physical world is iconography, which I think he's proven mathematically, which is true. But the things that people will do to get away from God. But anyway, the concept of the soulmate is a very interesting, it's about people who connected at the soul level prior to the physical level. And for whatever reason, we think that the soul connection is deeper or more virtuous than the physical connection.
Wow.
Like, nobody ever says body mates.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even using the term twin flame, like, fire is physical to a degree, but we generally don't associate fire with the physical world. We associate fire with spirit or whatever. So...
Yeah, I mean... I think because, like, a body connection makes sense. Especially if two people just look really good. You're like, well, that I was just watching this thing where there's a girl and she was overweight by a lot. And she was with this guy that was like a bodybuilder, and she was taking pictures. I guess there's like a thing where people will take pictures like before and after they get ready. Mm-hmm. So they were both in their towels, and then it's them after they get ready. And of course, both pictures, he looks top notch, and both pictures, she looks, And so she was like saying how the comment section really blew up and people were being really rude, and they were like, this doesn't make any sense. I know math, blah, blah, blah. And, and people were being really, really mean. And she was like, it's like everybody wants to make everything about the physical connection. Like him and I are extremely tight and we have a very close-knit relationship and they've connected at a very deep level. And so, you know, she didn't say whether or not he would like it if she was more fit. But she was just saying like that their connection is deeper than what everybody's looking at on the surface. And so I think that when we talk about like the soul versus the body, like when it's the body and it's two people that match up in attractiveness, you're like, oh, okay, that most people think that makes sense. But we all know that the body it's going to take a downward trend. It doesn't matter if you're the girl in the situation I was just talking about, the girl or the guy, both of them are going to take a downward trend because they're both getting older. But as far as the soul can get sweeter, not with time, but with applying yourself to becoming a deeper person, and understanding yourself and understanding the world around you and having a deeper connection with other people and the souls that surround you. And that can obviously having a spiritual connection, all that stuff makes it so that way your soul can become sweeter. And if both of you are both working on your souls, then it's getting sweeter. We say with time, but time doesn't do anything, because if you're left to yourself and you're a bitter person, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and more bitter. That's how you get horrible, nasty old people. It doesn't happen. Like time, they've had time, and look what it did to them.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's why people look at the soul connection as something deeper. And also, I think that, I don't know, maybe there's a level, like a subconscious level, where we think the body thing, like next we're gonna die. When we see everybody die, what you see is their body left. You don't see their soul, you don't see their spirit. We just see their body left. So we're like, yeah, that thing's not. That's something's there. Mm-hmm. But the soul and the spirit, they continue on, and we're not. It's not as clear to us where they go or whatever. I mean, it depends on your belief system, what you think, but the body stays right there. You bury it or you cremate it or something. So I don't know. I just think that we have this sort of understanding that the physical it's just not as meaningful as the soul. So, and it's not as deep.
The song's a 9.8 for me. I'm going to be jamming to that song in the car for a long time.
It is definitely worth a 9.8. 9.9 for me. I loved it. Thank you, my insanity. If my Apple Music was working, or whatever it's called, iTunes or whatever, I would add it to my playlist. But every time I add a song, it suddenly disappears. All right, well, we'll come back at you with another song. We have Elven King, Witches Gather next.
Yes, sir. We shall return. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.